As a seller, I know you need it, but you don't know you need it. You don't feel enough pain yet. And we're going to talk about that next. Matt Rocco joins us on Purpose Under Pressure. Well, welcome back. My name's Brian, and this is Purpose Under Pressure. It's a podcast about developing sales and leadership success on purpose and under pressure. And it's brought to you by the Professional Sales and Leadership Training Team at Sandler by the Ruby Group. You'll find them in Akron and in Columbus, Ohio. They're in Jacksonville, Florida. They're in Capital Region, New York. They do their work on purpose so that you and your team can represent that way. And that's why they're partners with us on this show. I will tell you this right now. When I was brainstorming this idea for a podcast, when I thought that it might be something that people would want to listen to or watch, when I thought it could make a difference, I didn't put it up for sale. I didn't go to a bunch of different people and try to figure out who wanted to be my partner. I went to Sandler by the Ruby Group. They're my friends, and I know what they stand for. And folks, if you have any questions about what you stand for or how you can represent that way, I want you to reach out to them because they're going to help you. Whether you buy anything from them or not, they're going to help you. That's the greatest thing in the world. And I hope that you will reach out and connect with Sandler by the Ruby Group. They're online at therubygroup.sandler.com, the Ruby Group, where sales, leadership, and purpose come together. So let's get cooking. I have mentioned I've known the Sandler by the Ruby Group team, and I have for a long time. And one of the first things I understood when I knew I needed them was when they talked about pain. Do you finding pain? Are you figuring out what your buyer needs? Are you figuring out what they need so badly that they're willing to trade some money for it? Because sometimes we think they need what we're selling. It's obvious to us that they need what we're selling, but they're not feeling it. They're not feeling the pain of life without whatever you have to offer. And I think that needs change if you're going to make anything happen. And so Matt Rocco is a partner and a trainer at Sandler by the Ruby Group. He was training the Ruby Group clients just this week on this concept of pain. And
Absolutely.
So I wanted to get his take. Matt, welcome to Purpose Under Pressure.
Than's Brian. Good to be on.
I'm
Always
glad you're here.
enjoyed
And
this
this is your kind of topic, isn't it, Matt? They say they want it, but they don't buy it. What's going on here?
What's going on? Yeah. And let me start by saying this is one piece. This is one piece of the entire process of, bringing someone across the line and making a sale. But it could arguably be, Brian, the most important one and one that you should put the most time into, right?
Agreed.
At the end of the day, what drives a buyer's decision? And a lot of times, most sellers will hang out in the surface level area of what someone's encountering and what they're going through, right? As they call on businesses, they go into meetings, they hear what's going on, and they hang out there and spend a lot of time there. Really, though, that staying up there at the surface doesn't uncover enough of a situation to where someone feels the urgency to actually want to make a change. So I'd say that at a very entry level is step one.
So what's surface level pain? Describe what that is so that I can identify it when I'm in it.
Okay. So surface would be something where, if I were to walk into your business, let's say you owned a restaurant and you have leaks in your roof. You'd walk in and you'd say, well, share with me what's going on. And they say, well, we're dripping water right over here in this spot. And we're come over here to here. We're seeing this, brown goo come through the roof and it's hitting our ceiling tiles and making the inside of our restaurant look gross. That would be what would be those surface issues.
It's surface level because this is what's happening.
It's what's going on.
And so why isn't that enough? If that's not something that they want to fix, why am I even there? What am I missing there?
Well, it depends how, at the end of the day, what is that problem costing? What is the frustration behind it? Is there risk that they're dealing with? And are those things urgent enough for them to make a change and say, hey, I want to get this fixed? So if you hang out there up at the top with just the surface level of what's going on, and you don't really start to understand, hey, I need to see what the problem is. I want to know what the impact of what you're going through is really doing. Who's it affecting? What have you tried to do about it? You've got to get the real work is underneath.
the real work is getting down deeper. Is
It
there,
is.
how do I get, because if I'm selling a fix to a leaky roof and
Yeah.
he has a leaky roof, how do I get deeper than that? Well, the client might just say, look, I've got a leaky roof. How
Yeah.
much is yours? Right. I mean, even it, you're saying go deeper.
One great way to just get a better understanding is asking more questions. The average, when studies have been done to show, hey, this is the amount of questions a seller in a buy and sell relationship as they're working through things, this is the number of questions that are traditionally asked. It's an astonishingly low number. It's under 4. So, what if we
Okay.
started just simply by asking more questions, wanting to get a better understanding of what they're going through, the issue, what is it, what are you going through, and ultimately, what are the consequences that you're dealing with?
And that's kind of where it gets fun, isn't it? Because a leaky roof is just a leaky roof, if we keep with the analogy, and 100 different people can fix the leaky roof. And if I don't get deeper, I'm just going to be quoting price. It gets interesting when you get down into, let's call it the emotional level of what that pain is causing. Give me some examples of things that you might find when you get deeper and how it can make your job as a seller maybe easier or maybe even better. Like you can solve some really big problems if you go deep, can't you, Matt?
You can, and I think this is the first step to really keep it from being a race to the bottom, right? If it's as simple as someone being able to, let's say who's a competitor to that roofing salesperson that would go in and really start to understand what are the delays in business that this is causing for you, what is it doing to your team, right? And really digging into it. If it's something simple as saying I have water leaking into my building, could we not put that into some forum or some block online, click enter, and have it spit out a number as to what it might cost to fix that, right? Like it's a race to the
Yeah.
bottom, or it's a race to eliminate the value of what a salesperson can do for these customers if you're not willing to put the time into asking some more questions. So, how do you get deeper into that? Well, it's number one, your mindset needs to be, Brian, that if I were in the shoes of this person, what would I be thinking? What am I dealing with? What am I potentially going through? And you can't tell them what they're going through. You can't tell them, I have a feeling you're this because of this, but you can ask the right questions to discover, hey, what's this person doing? And it goes from being a leaking roof to someone losing sleep at night because they're concerned they might lose their job because they haven't taken care of this for quite a long time and the owner is upset about it.
And so that, if I'm understanding right, is more personal. Like if I go in and
It
I'm
is.
talking to a business and he says, look, I got a leaky roof, I need this, and you're going to solve it. Well, that's a business problem. But now you're talking about someone losing sleep at night. And I
We
bet
are.
it even goes deeper than that. Are you searching for personal pain here, or is that crossing a line?
So no, and I more would classify it, Brian, as we go from the logical reasons of why someone would want to get this taken care of to then the emotional side, the emotional reasons of why they would actually move forward with. That's where the urgency comes from. That's where the pain becomes actionable because it goes from being something where, hey, this would be nice to get taken care of to if I don't do this, there's going to be some real issues and I'm going to feel that here. So it does. It goes from kind of the big picture of the what's going on to, hey, individually for you, what is this doing? And you have to be willing to walk through that process and really understand that.
I've been in this situation, I guess, many times. I've said before I'm Sandler trained, so this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. But you get down so deep that the customer actually gets mad. Like they're
Mhm.
actually starting to feel like, and it's almost like, look, Brian, would you just sell me something? Because I need to fix this. But that's kind of where we want it, isn't it? We
And Brian,
want
you're
them to
sitting there
want it
saying,
so
okay,
badly.
okay, you convinced me.
Yeah,
I'll take care of this for you. Right.
yeah, yeah.
If the salesperson is more bothered by the problem than the buyer is, it's not qualified. right? You haven't done the right job of getting it. Your job is not to convince someone that they need it. Your job is to find out, is this a big enough of a thing in their world to where they would actually be willing and then able to move forward with taking care of
I love that line. It's not your job to be more. How did you say that again? If you're more convinced than they are,
it. If the seller, if you're more bothered by the problem than the buyer is, it's not qualified.
that's just genius. I've never thought about it that way, but I think I always will from now on, because we as sellers think everyone needs our product.
Hmm.
And maybe they do, but until they think they need their product, we don't have a deal. Matt,
Yeah.
what happens when you push a little too hard? You touch a nerve and the buyer's like, "Look, man, are you going to give me a price or not?" Like, you're trying to help him, but they don't want to get personal yet. That's got to be a tough spot.
Yeah, I mean I think you can set the tone at the beginning of an interaction and say, "Hey, there's some questions. If we're going to really get to the bottom of this, there's some questions I'm going to need to ask that are probably not something that is real easy to get into, right? They might be some things about the financial piece, or it might be specifically how this is affecting you, and get their permission at the beginning of the call that you're going to go there. And then I think when you do take it there, it's one of those things where if they are being real about what's going on, and that's the biggest thing, Brian, is most people are pretty close to the chest. They don't want to reveal that. And at that point, you might have to disqualify it because they won't go here, right? But if
Mhm.
they are willing to, there's an assertiveness that you are allowed to have, right? There's a gold standard that you go over this standard and you will become very pushy, and all the bad words you can think of why people hate salespeople. We're just being really frank and real here. There's a lot of really, sleazy, slimy, pushy, all those
Yeah.
words that describe sellers that people have seen, and that's not at all going to serve you at any level. But there is an assertiveness you're going to need to have where you're willing to ask questions that your competition isn't, to really get to the bottom of the thing. And if they're willing to say, "Hey, I'll share with you really what's going on," you might get to the point where they take some action. That's what the goal is. If we don't go there, we're probably hanging out there in the surface.
I think if you don't go there, you're exactly like 99% of the other sellers that are going to walk in and out of that office before or after you, and you haven't differentiated yourself at all, and you haven't made that buyer really think and really understand that this guy is different. And folks, I hope you understand now and can see Matt's different. And the trainers and the partners at Sandler by the Ruby Group are different. You might not run into a lot of salespeople that treat the sales process this way. And Matt, thank you so much for sharing that, because it's not easy to dig for the pain, but man, sales gets easy when people feel the truth. Isn't that right?
Yeah, Brian, it's not uncommon for someone to have been in sales for 15, 20 years and never really understood a methodology and a process that really gets you to these conversations and these types of conversations with a buyer. And because I know I myself was in sales for a long time before seeing the Sandler methodology and understanding that, okay, there is a better way. And so, it is different. It's different than what most sellers are out there doing, but it's effective because we're, again, not there to convince someone. We're there to present it and let them decide if this is what they want to do. But it's your job to uncover those things.
So I can see someone listening right now, and maybe a sales leader going, "Holy cow, this hurts," because this is what my sales team is doing, or this is what I'm struggling with. So maybe we've touched a
And
pain point here now. In case we have, Matt, how do people reach out to you if they want to find you?
yeah, so great place to connect is on LinkedIn. There's also, you can call into our offices, like you said, Ohio, Capital Region, New York, Florida. I'm based in Jacksonville, and let's just find some time to connect and find out if what we do is even a fit in their world.
Matt, that was painful. Thank you though for sharing all this information on Purpose Under Pressure.
The truth hurts, they say, right?
Truth hurts. I like that. Folks, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We do this every week. And if you like it, go ahead and subscribe. That way you won't miss another show. Maybe tell a friend if they want to feel a little bit of pain too and be on purpose. Hey, you'll find all past episodes of Purpose Under Pressure at brianmediastrategies.com/podcast and wherever you stream your favorite shows. It's brought to you by the Ruby Group, where sales, leadership, and purpose come together. Until next time, no matter how high the pressure gets, remember, truth hurts. Love that line, man. Stay on purpose.